Welcome back to Schizophrenia Life Morning Show. Today we're going to be talking about 23 ways to be happier. How to be happy in your everyday life. But first, a few announcements. Today's the last day that will count towards this month, I believe. Yes. So tomorrow's the last day of the month. And we already broke the download record for making this November the highest of the podcast. And not just by a little bit. So I want to thank you guys, really, truly. So 4 months ago, we set a record of 506 downloads. And now we're not even counting today, we're over 720. So thank you guys. I really appreciate the support. So let's dive into 23 ways to be happier. Provided by Psychology Today. Number one, find out what to do first. How are you supposed to build the right happiness skills if you don't know which ones you are struggling with in the first place? And so you should take an online quiz that asks you about what makes you happy so you know which route to take. I can see that helping. Online quizzes always help. Number two, give yourself a confidence boost. I think that goes hand in hand. I mean, if you do things that make you happy, you're going to feel more confident anyway. But I guess it can go the other way around. If you get more confident, then you're going to be happier. Number three, fuel your progress by learning how to feel better about yourself. You wouldn't practice math to get better at cooking, and you wouldn't learn another language to lose weight. To be happy, you'll likely make more progress by focusing on skills that are most closely linked to happiness. In my research, the skill that usually turns out to be most closely linked to happiness is positive self-use, learning how to feel better about yourself. For example, by imagining your best possible self, noting your positive qualities, or identifying your strengths can go a long way to increasing your happiness. I agree. Number four, create balance and overcome burnout. I think balance is... This is starting to talk about work-life balance on number four, and everyone has a different work-life balance. I cannot stress that enough. I guarantee some of these CEOs working, 100 hours a week and shit, and they still consider their work-life balance on cue. I guarantee I could never do that. I could never work that much and consider my life balanced. But there's some people who, like, if they work less than 80 hours a week, they're not happy because they like working. I love my job, but I ain't gonna work 100 hours a week. That's just it ain't gonna happen. So, I think you really have to look at yourself on this one, and you know how much work is too much for yourself and how much is a good number. And so I really think you have to know yourself to be able to keep the work-life balance. Number five, build a growth mindset for happiness. Well, that's just common sense, really. I mean, you're gonna be growing in the fact that you're changing and growing into a happier person. you have to have the mindset like if you were trying to get better at a sport and you just kept practicing and trying and practicing and trying, you have a growing mindset because you're trying to get better at it. And it's the same with happiness. Happiness doesn't just come to you, it takes work. Sometimes it's easy work, but it still takes work. Sometimes it's hard. If you're depressed all the time, then switching to happiness will take work. It's not just going to come hit you on the back of the head. Number 6, make positive memories. But first, if you haven't followed Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, please hit those channels up and follow them and share the podcast with your friends. I'm getting really tired of the follow-unfollow culture that happens on Instagram. I mean, I got a lot of loyal followers. Thank you for those that are listening. I have a lot of loyal followers on Instagram that, like, you know, I've helped and they're really supportive of the podcast. But I get so many of the people just unfollow, trying to get me to follow. And I'm like, if they even looked at my profile, they would know I don't do that because I only follow like maybe 6 people. So they would know that, but they don't even look at they just, follow, unfollow. Maybe I'll get one. Alright, moving on. Number 6, make positive memories. Every region in our brain can be strengthened through practice. If our brains are really good at remembering negative things that happen, it can be useful to remember positive things that happen. Well, obviously, if you're making positive memories, that's kind of common sense that you would be happy because you'd have to be happy to make them. You know what I mean? If you're in a moment where you're creating a memory that's happy, then you're happy in that moment. So I don't understand number 6. Number 7, find those silver linings. This is like, look at the bright side, which is true in almost every aspect of life. If something happens, you can look at the bad side or the good side of whatever it is. And a lot of people tend to look at the bad side when they should look at the positive. If something bad happens, yes, it may be devastating, it may have a bad side, but you can also look at the positive side, like what did I learn from it? Or, how did it improve you? I mean, did it make you able to deal with other things? Number 8, take breaks from social media. Oh, you're crazy. No, I'm just kidding. I don't think you should take a break from social media because that would kill my podcast. But I do think you should go through your friends list or every time you scroll down your timeline, and if you see someone that constantly posts negative shit or depressing shit, delete them, block them, or just unfollow, never, and click like never see post from them again. If you don't want to hurt their feelings by unfollowing, just they can't see if you just block their post. And do that every time you see people that post negative content, and it'll clear your timeline up to where it's only good stuff. So I think instead of taking a break, you need to clean up the people that you see stuff from. Number 9, spend smarter for more happiness. Okay. How can we choose to spend our money impacts what we can do and how we live in ways that impact how happy we are. When we choose a less fancy house or car, things that don't bring us much happiness, we have more money to spend on adventures or gifts or friends, things that actually do make us happy. I don't necessarily agree with that, because, what if you're a car person and you spend more money on a car and get the car of your dreams, and every time you drive it, it makes you happy? You know? Or what if your dream was to live in a certain house on a lake, and so you spend more money, but then you get to walk out your back door and go fishing every morning because you bought the house on the lake? So I completely, how you spend your money doesn't impact your happiness per se. But if you're spending more money than you have and you're broke, then that would obviously make you less happy because you're broke and you're spending all your money. So you know what I mean. Number 10, communicate kindly. When we are kind to others, we feel better about ourselves. We can do nice things for others, be empathetic, or we can just treat each other with respect. Communicating kindly rather than assuming the worst. I think that's kind of given. Why would you communicate any other way than kindly? Like, why would you not be nice to people? If I go around yelling at people, of course I'm going to be pissed off because I'm yelling at someone. But if I have friendly conversations all the time, then it obviously is going to be putting me in a better mood. This writing style, by the way, is not very good for a doctor with a PhD. Just saying. Number 11, end your negative patterns of thinking. Let's face it, sometimes we are what's making us miserable. We can just stop thinking about how so wronged us, or how our life didn't turn out as we hoped. Negative thought process like worrying, self-judgment, fearing rejection just keeps us miserable and unable to move forward. When you find yourself thinking negatively, pause and refocus your thoughts. In time, your brain will be able to do this more easily on its own. I agree with this 100%, especially when I was fighting with depression. I had negative thoughts, 24 hours a day that I was awake, just negative. And what started the change was thinking positively. And you can get help with this for free. Go on YouTube and search there's positive motivational videos that you can watch in the mornings. There's a channel called Be Inspired. They make little 5-minute videos that you can watch every morning that just gets you thinking positively. And even if you don't accomplish anything else other than having a positive mindset when you leave the house, changes a lot of things in your life. Number 12, find clarity. How are you supposed to move your life forward when you don't even know what you feel or why you feel it? To become happier, try to gain clarity on your emotions. Find out what you're feeling and what caused those feelings. Now, this actually, I was at the doctor yesterday, right? And he said, well, how have you been feeling the last week? And I was like, I don't know how to answer that. And he's like, well, how are you feeling? Blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, normal? Like, what am I supposed to say here? You know, I have happy moments, I have not happy moments, just normal. Like, I wouldn't say, I was happy 24 hours a day. I mean, I don't think there's anyone that is, truly happy, every minute of every day. You have those moments where you're not happy, where you're just normal, where you're just living. And so, no, oh, I gotta tell you guys another story about my visit to the doctor yesterday. He asked me, um, what do I want to accomplish by coming there? And I thought, wow, that is the stupidest question I've ever heard. If I was a cancer patient coming in, would you ask me what I hope to accomplish? Or would you assume it was to get rid of the cancer? Like, you wouldn't ask a cancer patient, they come into the doctor for help. Well, do you want to get rid of the cancer or do you just want to be happy about having cancer? Like, are you kidding me? I mean, and I understand why he asked me, is because there's no cure for schizophrenia, so it's not like he can just, give me a medicine and I'm cured. So I understand why he would ask something like that, but to me, it just doesn't make sense. Like, no, I don't want to feel better about my schizophrenia. I want to deal with it. Like, common sense, people. Number 13, live your values. This is kind of like, I'm not going to read that to you. To me, live your values. It's kind of like, do what you tell other people to do. Some people say, do what I say, not what I do. But I kind of think it shouldn't be like that. You know, if you're telling someone they should clean up their life and your life's a wreck, then maybe you should clean up your own life too. Look in the mirror before you tell someone what to do. If you are telling someone who's lazy, hey, they should start getting up at 6 a.m. every morning, and you're not getting up at 6 a.m. every morning, then something's wrong, So that's kind of living your values. And, like, you shouldn't be telling people, to help the homeless if you're not helping the homeless. You shouldn't be telling people to be nice to others when you're an asshole. Like, don't tell someone to do something if you're not doing it. Pay attention to the good, number 14. I think this goes more in line with being grateful and just having gratitude and humility in everyday life. If something happens that's good to you, be thankful that it happened and recognize that something good happened to you. Um, I heard this thing one time about, I forgot who told it to me, but they said, if you have a place to sleep, something to eat, and you're able to walk around physically, then you're doing pretty good. So, you have to be grateful for the little things in life, that you have a bed, that you have running water, that you're not uh, physically impaired and you can't walk around, or, like, for me, would be like going blind is like a huge fear that I have, that, like, everything in my life would revolves around sight. I mean, I work on computers all day. Like, if I lost my sight, I wouldn't be able to do it, you know? And so, like, that's a huge fear for me. So I'm grateful every day that, that I have my sight, that I'm able to do what I'm doing, I'm so grateful that I have a job. Like, I mean, it took me 3 years to get a job, and I was just so depressed, and now I'm just so busy. so so I'm grateful every single day, and that once you start realizing the little things in life that to be grateful for, you will really improve, you know? Number 15, use your imagination to create the life you seek. Did you know that your brain has difficulty time different blah blah between things that happen in your imagination and things that happen in real life? So when you imagine something, even happiness, your brain acts as if it's real. We can use imagination to help create this. Alright, I'm going to stop it right there. Vision board. Make a vision board, put what your dream is on the board, and look at it every single day. That's what you need to do for this. Because I think it goes beyond imagination. It has to be in front of you and blasting your subconscious. Every single thing, every image, every second of the day, whether you know it or not, your subconscious is recording it. So if you just blast the same image of whatever your dream is all day long at your subconscious, then your subconscious will find a way to make it happen. Number 16, stay mindful. Sometimes we want to escape. The world seems dark and scary, but by practicing mindfulness, we experience more fully both the positive and the negative. We are more fully engaged in our lives. I think that goes along with you have to live in the moment. And the first part of it was we want to escape. I wanted to escape for 3 years. I would escape for 12 to 16 hours a day into World of Warcraft, into video games, into movies. That was my escape. And I think limiting your escape and living in the moment will be a huge change in your happiness. Number 17, explore what happiness means to you. I think this got answered already. Just find out what makes you happy and pursue it with everything you have. And fill your life with what makes you happy. Number 18, go after life. How are you supposed to change your life? By doing the same things you've always done. It's pretty tough. Instead, push yourself to overcome fear and approach life with enthusiasm. Try doing the opposite. See how it feels. And to make your brain more flexible. Number 19, speak up and be yourself. When we let people walk all over us, we're unhappy. But we advocate for our own needs assertively and express ourselves, we feel more in control of our lives. Number 20, find your purpose. I've done entire podcasts on this. Please refer to one of the podcasts below. Look for the word purpose. I guarantee it'll be better than the paragraph that they got there. Number 21, build meaningful connections. I think this just goes straight down to cutting out the negative people in your life. Everyone that is like in any field of public speaking to help people, every single one of them I have heard say at some point that you are the reflection of the 5 closest people you hang out with. The 5 people that you spend the most time with in your life, you tend to be more like. And so if you have a bunch of negative, hateful people, angry people, then you're going to be like that. So cut those out and get positive, optimistic, happy, beautiful people, beautiful on the inside. Get happy, beautiful people that are living the life that you want, and surround yourself with them, and you will become more like them. 22. I have no idea what that word is. I've never heard of it. It says get off the hedonic treadmill. Refers to the tendency for us to return to our original level happiness over time. To boost your baseline level happiness, you can try changing your physiology through nutrition and exercise. Okay, that makes sense. That makes sense. Basically, like I've said 1,000 times before, exercise every morning. You change your body and your mind together to improve your life. Number 23, last but not least, hold yourself accountable. Oh, my word. So, on Twitter, I got into a little Twitter war. No, I didn't. I saw a post and I replied to it. Someone, Ed Milet is a businessman, and he posted on Twitter a challenge, and it was, you have to monitor progress to improve. If you don't monitor, you don't improve. And so his challenge was monitor pretty much everything you fucking do and everything you want to improve over the next week. This was last week. And because you were monitoring it, it would improve more than the week before. And so I tweeted out back to him, challenge accepted. And I made an Excel sheet of everything I wanted to improve, mainly dealing with the podcast and social media that supports the podcast. And I monitored for the week straight, and then tweeted back, and I posted on Instagram some of the results, and main results were on Twitter. But it worked. Like, I grew the Instagram quite a bit. Podcast downloads picked up. It felt good monitoring it in the way that he had, because it brought light what was I doing and what was I not doing. And by doing that Excel sheet every single day, it brought to light, if I missed one day, then that just screwed my numbers for the week. And so I didn't miss a day last week, and I did it every day. And because I was monitoring it, it motivated me to do it. Today is Thursday. Guess what? Wednesday, I did not do a podcast. I ran out of time in the morning, and I said, okay, I'm going to do a late show, and then I didn't get the late show done. And I was disappointed in myself, and I can't blame anyone else. I did have time to do it. I chose to do something else. I chose to do my schoolwork and watch Criminal Minds on my other screen while I did schoolwork. So I chose not to do it. Should I have done it? Yes. Is that why you guys are getting a 30-minute instead of 15 to 20-minute podcast today? No. I just had a really long list to go through on psychology today. So the list was provided by Tahiki Davis, PhD, a consultant writer and expert on well-being technology. And they have a book. Honestly, it was not the best writing I've seen, but you guys got so much value out of it because of my insight and rewording of what they said. But that was 23 ways to be happier. I hope you guys enjoyed this podcast. It was longer than normal. Maybe we'll move the podcast up to an hour a day. How would you guys like that? I'm just kidding. If I got a bunch of people posting on my social media, like comments saying, yeah, we want to go to an hour a day, I would consider moving it up. But I would have to like see that people actually wanted that. I mean, I don't know if I could listen to my own voice for an hour. You know what I mean? Just kidding. Love you guys. Have a great, wonderful, amazing day. Just get off your ass and do something. Don't sit around waiting for good shit to happen to you. Don't wait for happiness to come to you. Get up and make yourself happy. Do everything you can to change today, right now. Go.